right, this is Jeff Carroll, Sci-Fi Express Lane. Welcome. I'm here talking about my Kickstarter or my comic book, Spoof, Streetz. And kind of want to take a little bit more time to talk about why I made a comedy comic book and kind of like what you can expect from like the stories inside it, because just want to give you a little bit more details. I didn't want to put everything on Kickstarter, so I wanted to take time, because Kickstarter only gives you like 3 minutes and it takes away from the other stuff. So Spoof Streetz is a product of me just being nosy in Barnes and Nobles and reading Mad Magazine and looking at some of the old other magazines that they have, and wanting to submit to them or write stories like them, just finding the usefulness of those stories in that magazine in terms of making me relax, giving me something to think about while I'm sitting in Barnes and Nobles. I bought a couple of Mad magazines, and it's kind of the only humor magazine left, but I feel as unsatisfied as sometimes like watching Saturday Night Live, unless it's a host that I like, or it's a guest, or they have a hot bad multicultural issue. Sometimes the skits might be funny, but they're not that funny to me. And I wanted to write something where it was more in living color. It was more Chappelle Show, Key and Peele. And as much as comedy is universal, there is an element of it that speaks to diversity. And I think even Mad Magazine comedy show was a good example of that, because it seemed to be more multicultural than the magazine. And I wanted to bring that, back to like comic books. And also, the world of comic books is not so diverse. It is diverse in its overall inclusion, but diversity in black creators haven't penetrated every aspect of comic books. Many of our comic books are really just superhero stories and fantasy. And we have a few horror stories, but that seems to be it. And when you look on Kickstarter, when you look in the independent comedy world, there's a lot of other types of energies in comic books. I mean, EC Comics, I think it is, I don't know if it's Dark Horse, I can't remember which company it is, has brought back their genre magazines, their genre comics, space, outstanding stories, those things. But even with those stories, they're not seeking out black or Latino or diverse story characters from diverse backgrounds. It's still pretty much as white male as it was in the 50s and the 60s when they first started. So I really wanted to take some time to explore black themes, urban themes, more cool stuff, popular culture. I mean, Mad Magazine is quick to spoof Star Wars and Superman, and those are their go-to. They'll spoof some other things, but mostly they're doing Superman and Star Wars. And I like Superman, I love Star Wars, but there's even diversity within those storylines that I wanted to bring out in my book. So, give you an example. We have a story called Super Black, right? Or a story about a character named Super Black. And Super Black is a superhero, but taken from the Superman storyline, I try to make it diverse, almost like what you see in The Boys, mixed with a little bit of Incredibles, mixed with a little bit of Invincible, and all these different, maybe not Brightburn, but you never know who the villain might be. But I wanted to approach it from a different angle, and I love watching The Boys and how the Homelander and all the superheroes are placed into a real world. And when I say a real world, we have Donald Trump as our president. To say racism isn't a big factor, you're crawling under a rock. You're not even under a rock, because racism is there. It's just as popular as Donald Trump, and he's our president. So for a black character to not have, the black superhero to not have to deal with racism in our world is sort of unrealistic. So I wanted Super Black to be placed in a world where racism was a factor, okay? And then I have another story. One of my most exciting basketball players, Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving is also known as World B. Flat. You remember him from saging out Madison Square Garden, saging out the Boston Garden, and embracing in indigenous American cultures. Those are beautiful things, but he's also known for arguing that we don't know if the earth is round. There's nothing to prove that. And while I love conspiracy theories, I do not like the exploitation of conspiracy theories, and I don't like flat earthers. I don't even want to debate them. If I'm on the show like Amanda Seals was, and they got a flat earther there, I'll be like, nah, I don't even waste time talking about them, because it's so, in words of Mike Tyson, ludicrous, that I think that it's not even worth debating, because they don't accept existing facts. So one of the stories I have is called Byron Curvey and the Flat Earth. And it's a beautiful one where a flat earther athlete is coming to grips with people not accepting their flat eartherism. And it has a beautiful ending, and it's a spoof story, just like Super Black is a spoof story. So also in the book, I'm spoofing Madea. All right, I got Madea is a beautiful person, you know, and I love the Madea movies. That's why I'm spoofing them. But in my family in Virginia, we call them a person like Madea, like our Big Ma. You know, we have a lady we call Big Ma. She's like not even the matriarch of the family. Could be the abuela, but she may not even have that role. She's just a big provider. She's the house that everybody goes to. She may not even be there emotionally for everybody, but she's the go-to person, you know, like the poster child of the mothers in the family. And so I did a little spoof on Big Ma. I got my Big Ma story. And then I have another story about Wildin' Out. And I am a fan of Wildin' Out. As you know, I would love to do a sketch comedy show, but in addition to sketch comedy, I love the joke snaps and the skits that they do, all that. I love all of the cast members that they have coming back, because I think and I respect their creativity. So I just wanted to spoof a little bit of Wildin' Out. And I think one of the reasons why I did Wildin' Out, because I had done this particular story a few years ago and just never had a magazine to really put it in, or a comic book to put it in. But the reason why I think I did Wildin' Out was because I feel Wildin' Out could get a comic book magazine itself. You know, I know Dave Chappelle didn't want to do the Chappelle Show anymore, but I think people just need to try print comedy. There is a way to make people laugh. I've got a couple of one-pagers in there that I think will make you laugh. And I think something like Wildin' Out would have been really cool. I mean, it's not even about promoting literacy, because anything you write down promotes literacy, but just having it in a different medium is entertaining. And maybe this isn't for everybody, because I don't know if everybody reads Mad Magazine, but what I'm saying is, before you say it's not for you, I think you should give it a try. So that's pretty much it. I have a couple of other little things in the magazine that I think or the comic book that you'll like, but please check out Spoof Streetz. The packages are really cool. I give you opportunities to get some of my previous comic books, like Cyberpunk Streetz and Horror Streetz. I'll also put a little bundle in there that includes my novel collection of short stories called Sci-Fi Streetz, and I also have my first comic book series, post-apocalyptic series, The Last Harlemite. So all of that is in there.
Let's go get your spoofs.
That's my wife. She wrote along being quiet. So thank you very much. And that's it. I'm home. And yeah, I'll put the link in here for you. Thank you.